Okay, so here's a quick crash course on how to do the nebula stream task for our summer visit. So I am comfortable using my computer from a command line situation. So I'm going to invoke it from the command line, and I actually have it set up. If I type alias ds9, you can see that it's actually calling ds9 with everything set to z-scale ahead of time. So ds9, now I'm going to load them in wavelength order, which is not alphabetical order. So I'm going to do 2 mass J, 2 mass H, 2 mass K, and then I want to do Spitzer glimpse Iraq 1, Spitzer glimpse Iraq 2, and Wise 1 and Wise 2. I'm not going to do all the rest of it, just, in the interest of time. So there it is. It's loading it all in. Okay. So let's do just Iraq 1. We're going to do frame single, and we're going to do frame match frame WCS. Now we want to get this over to where I can see the nebulous stream more easily, and then do frame match frame WCS again. And then I want to change the scale. I want to do, that's not helpful. Let's do linear, but then let's change what the high level is, so we can start to see some of the texture a little bit better in there. Okay, so now I can see both the nebulosity and the stars in the nebulous stream. Let's do the next, because this is Iraq 2. Let's do scale parameters for this one too. Let's put this 2. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so let's make this as big as we can. And then we want to do, let's try to center it up here. Frame, match frame, WCS. If I tile it, okay, so we've got JHK, Iraq 1 and 2, and then Ys 1 and 2. So the Y scale is off now too. So let's make sure we get something reasonable there. I don't know, 40? We're getting there. Okay, let's try here as well. Apply. Okay, so you can see that the Y's images are blurrier because they're poorer spatial resolution. Just so that we can get the screen real estate. Oh, we can also see that JH and K, it's very hard to see the nebulosity. So I'm going to get rid of the J tile just so we can make the best use of the screen real estate that's available. Now, to measure distances, you guys should know how to do this. So we want to go to region. Actually, first we want to go to edit and then do region. And then region, we want to do shape, ruler. Then you can measure the distances between anything, right? If you double click on it, it'll bring it up a pop-up. Come on, really? There we go. So you can change the units to arc seconds if you'd rather. You can, right now it's set to give you decimal degrees. You do not have to function in decimal degrees if you do not want to, but I usually do. So the length of the line segment I drew is 155 arc seconds. And it will actually say that here. So I'm not going to show you how to measure the distances between the clumps because that's the judgments you're going to have to make, but that's how you measure distances. Now, the next step is going to be how to define the region that you think we should study. So that, again, is judgment call that you need to make. But if you want to make a circle, region, shape, circle, click in the image. You want to click at the center of the circle you want and drag out till it's the size that you want. If you would rather make squares, you can make a box, click in the image and drag to make the box. But it may be that the most useful thing you can come up with is, in fact, a polygon. So you can click in the image, and that makes an initial polygon. Then when you click it again, you see how it's selected? Because I've got here, this was the square, so now it's got the boxes on the corners. If I want to change the size, you see how I move the mouse here, I can move the whole thing. But if I put the mouse over one of the vertices, then I can change the size. Or I can click to select and delete. But here I've got this polygon. Whoop, made a new polygon by accident. There's 2 polygons, and look what's happening. If I want to move it, I have to select it, and then I have to move the mouse till it looks like an arrow, and then I can move it. But the power of the polygons are that you can change the dimensions of it. So click to select, and now if you want to add a new vertex, put your mouse over one of the sides, and you see the mouse changes in shape. Click and drag to create a new vertex. If you want to move an existing one, move your mouse till it looks like that, and then drag to move the vertex. Then, when you're done, when you have the region defined that you want to use for the nebula stream, do region, save, and then save the file someplace where you can find it. By default, it's going to save it as a ds9.reg file. You should save it something like my first attempt or something, okay? Now, I'm going to put it, for me, because you don't need to have this in the box drive, I'm going to just put this in my home directory for the moment. And it'll ask you, do you want it in decimal degrees or sexagesimal? It's easiest for comparing if you choose degrees, because then I can more easily compare what you're picking with what somebody else is picking. So if you click OK, then it's going to, let me go back to my home directory. And then, where did it go? Documents. Fascinating. Okay, let's get this up and do recent files. Fascinating. It doesn't look like it saved it. Okay, so save the region. Let's go. Oh, I see what happened. It did put it over there. This is the filter, but this is the save file. So I'm going to put it actually in my home directory. Okay, and make sure that it's saving it in degrees, just because it's easier on me for comparing between teams. Okay, and then now I can go to my home directory and look at my first attempt. So you see it's a region file. It's got the preamble that talks about what color it is and what thickness the lines are and stuff like that. But then polygon, parentheses, those are the vertices of the polygon region that you created. So work in your teams or by yourself, define the region that you want to use as the nebula stream, and then write it up a brief justification, like a slide with bullet points or something along those lines, and make sure you save the region file so that you can send it to me, and we can consolidate it in one place and compare what the different teams are coming up with.